Good afternoon, delegates and esteemed guests to this ADFIAP annual meeting. It's nice to be part of this program. Okay. For this session, I'm asked to briefly share my views on behalf of the Philippine Guarantee Corporation on three important points, taking off from our topic on the role of development financing institutions in resource mobilization and capital market development. First is the need to mobilize private capital flows to collectively deliver on the SDGs, including for an inclusive and sustainable rural transformation in which no one is left behind. The attainment of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals across the globe calls for the solid commitment and partnerships between governments and private institutions. We are nearing the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and while notable strides have been attained in this pursuit, there are still significant and urgent actions to be desired in the name of reaching the goals of the SDGs. On the part of Phil Guarantee, mobilizing private capital for development has always been the driving force behind its mandate. This institution has been part of the economic milieu over the last 45 years to this day. Because of evolving significance and its role in past Philippine administrations, it has transformed into becoming an institution not just for the provision of state guarantees, but also as an economic tool to pump prime strategic sectors of the country. Its mission and vision objectives are hued from the desire of becoming a strong and trusted state-owned enterprise, championing inclusive growth and catalyzing regional development by way of accessible, reliable, and efficient guarantee systems to enable credit. In 2015, as an adjunct to the SDGs mobilization, international policy shaping and multilateralism forged the way for nations during the International Conference on Financing for Development, where Phil Guarantee was part of the participating delegates. And we supported the accessibility and flow of private capital development as part of the Addis Ababa Action Agenda. The essence of the Phil Guarantee mandate is not only to provide credit guarantees as a de-risking tool, but also to ensure market confidence that it can catalyze working credit under a dependable state system of credit intermediation, thereby mitigating viability gap. This in itself is achieving complementarity between public and private sectors. And this is also the case for growth-intensive industries that will equally generate livelihood and employment, such as in trade and investments, exports, infrastructure, energy, tourism, agriculture, housing, MSMEs, and other priority sectors of government, thus bringing about socio-economic and regional development as the paramount outcome. The guarantee system braces headwinds of uncertainty to ensure the success of a priority project. We were progressing in our efforts on addressing poverty reduction and hunger, improving health and education, spurring economic resurgence, and addressing climate concerns. But then, COVID-19 pandemic happened, and there was a setback on our momentum. As natural disasters happen, we also slip notches back on our indicators. There are attempts to climb down on the risk, but not without the inherent costs or impact. The necessity of funds and resources to achieve mobilization and capital market development is tremendous, especially in developing countries such as the Philippines. Since the government will not be alone in this endeavor, there is the participation of the private sector. Not only their role becomes invaluable, but also their technological capabilities, expertise, and best practices. We envision not only collaboration, but espousing smart growth. Yet even with all efforts being called for, there remains a desire gap between the intent and the fulfillment of these critical partnerships. PhilGuarantee remains committed to helping reduce the gap insofar as mobilizing funds to make credit available and accessible. For the fulfillment of its mandate as of end of August 2022, PhilGuarantee partnered with the financial sector through its guarantee programs with over 3 billion of funds for the MSME sector, benefiting more than 20,000 businesses. Around 3.4 billion for the agriculture sector, benefiting more than 33,000 small farmers and fisherfolks. And for the housing sector, which equivalents to 216 billion, to benefit 19,400 new housing loan borrowers. A closer look at the multipliers will show our efforts focusing on micro and small entrepreneurs, which form the bulk of the mobilized credit. More than 80% of this assistance benefited the areas of Luzon and Visayas. For agriculture, there are more than 33,000 small farmers and fisherfolks, where support of the funds mobilized from the financial sector are coming from the assistance to the guarantee system. And in terms of housing, the focus is on social and low-cost program for homeowners and home borrowers, with a portfolio of about 216 billion under the housing guarantee facilities. The second concern is to highlight the potential for financial markets to help finance a global transition by linking financial needs to global resources of funding and the need to scale up sustainable finance globally, notably in low and middle-income countries. In today's economic reality, convergence and multilateral partnerships have been further harnessed to bring about regional cooperation and make for an efficient use of resources, especially for the developing countries. The effects of current geopolitical situation, a projected global recession, and confluence of crisis that is highlighted by weakening growth outlook through trade and supply chain disruptions, high commodity prices, and risking financial stress will once again dampen our resolve to restore growth and sustainability on a post-pandemic environment. Truly, we only have one planet to live in, and it is our responsibility to protect it. And by adopting the principles of sustainability, there must be a clarion call for stronger business cooperation and our willingness to show effort to show up the synergies for supporting sustainability initiatives and linkages. There remains a financing gap anywhere in the world, especially at this time of volatility and liberal market buoyancy. Bringing forth sustainability principles into the system is the ideal first step. In the Philippine experience, there are efforts on the environment sustainability, such as supporting financing efforts on waste-to-energy conversion, green power using renewable energy, wave power, wind farm, and others. These form part of a larger global community of initiatives that will redound to a responsive green economy. Other sustainability practices include promoting and integrating environmental, social, and governance criteria into investment management decisions. Supporting research and awareness campaigns on sustainability can go a long way as well. We also have the Green program, which aims to develop public open access to enhance livability of our cities. Green practices are integrated even in the government procurement process. Sustainability provides the impetus for changes in the way we make development happen, especially in innovating and harnessing financial linkages to scale up participation. The annual ADFIAP meeting is an important event that provides the platform convergence and relevance for needed international coordination and cooperation to advance significant causes and advocacies for people and planet. We face numerous challenges and the effects are global, hence the need for global community to work towards common goals of peace, prosperity, and sustainability. We have climate problems, pandemic, war, and strife among nations, to mention a few. Well, first is the adoption of a view that we are one. What happens in the region has the potential to affect nations across the globe. Second is to nurture the spirit of cooperation and compromise, cultivate the right mindset and right actions to follow, and foster inclusivity to build trust. Third is responsible leadership, creating the vision but also laying out the plan on how to make it happen. Fourth is to do the actual work and keep at it, because we adhere to the principles we adhered on. Fifth is effective information exchange and sharing that will provide confidence-building relationships, as this will affirm and strengthen communication of ideas, best practices, and business best results. And lastly, we monitor our progress and create adjustments and improvements along the way. In closing, we must all rise to nurture and steady the efforts achieved in the SDGs and maintain our sense of firm involvement, mutual commitment, and forthright dedication, including governments of the world, state-to-state collaboration schemes, and the movements from the private sector and non-government organizations. In our own steps, and with the end view of promoting inclusive economic growth, at this time of banding together, the cause of pushing sustainable development has never been more emphatic and considerable as it is today. Thank you very much. That ends my presentation.